the John Pehrson Award is meant to recognize consultants that go above and beyond. They've committed to multiple engagements and really demonstrate the behaviors that build trust, which I think you very much exemplify in all the work that you do with nonprofits. So my first experience with you was probably about 10 years or so ago through the Volunteer Impact Partnership Program. And we had a handful of organizations that were wanting to improve their volunteer programs, namely develop a volunteer database. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, yes. I've got extensive notes still on them.
Well, you were such a lifesaver because we had these small grassroots organizations that wanted help picking a database. And my colleague and I were volunteer management gurus. But, our eyes glaze over with technology. We weren't quite sure where to start. But we asked you to help these organizations figure out where they needed to go. And I remember you coming back to us and saying, Jan, these organizations aren't ready for a database. They don't know what their tracking needs are. They don't have tracking processes. They don't know what their reporting requirements are and so forth. And so you were really able to pivot to where the organizations were at. And instead of helping them figure out what technology to throw at the situation, really do some reflection in terms of what their needs were, what their goals were, how did they get to those goals given the constraints and resources that they had. And I was so impressed at the time of just your ability to, again, meet organizations where they're at. And you certainly came into the equation with an expertise, which I think can be intimidating to small organizations, but you did it with a sense of grace and humility, and we're really able to help the organizations be comfortable. And I think that uniquely set you up to be trusted in a way that doesn't always happen. And so I think that approach and the spirit and the outcome of those engagements and really your work over the years on all of your different projects really exemplifies the John Pehrson Award. And so I'm so excited to be a part of this with you and to be able to recognize you and just say thank you for your years of service and your approach to working with our small community-based organizations.
Well, I really thank you very much for this award, and I really appreciated it. And again, I think what spurs me is what spurs most volunteers, which is they like to help people and like to help organizations and like to see results. And I think I've been associated with 501 Commons for all this period of time because that's exactly what happens. Even when things don't appear to be successful in the outcome, the process itself inevitably helps the organization realize what their limitations and what their opportunities actually are. So merely going through the process has been extraordinarily helpful and personally rewarding because I like to see the growth and the advancement and the achievement of the goals of their organizations. And 501 is a great framework to do that, both on their consulting arm and lately with this current project where 501 Commons, through Susan's organization, can actually implement and specifically and concretely improve the operations of organizations. So I think that's why I've stuck around for 13 years. There are results.
Well, I really appreciate you, opening the door for those organizations, really similar, Jan, to what you said about Bob, I know you described to me, well, I've got 30 seconds to make a good impression and earn some trust, right? Yeah. And I think that's absolutely what you're able to do. And that just makes the rest of the relationship easier to develop and maintain. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I've been on the receiving end of the stick because my background is in running operations in a medium-sized insurance company. And I get phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning saying the checks aren't printing. What are you going to do about it? So I have a great deal of sympathy for these people who are in the same situation and they simply don't have the resources to work on it. And I'm glad to help when I can.
Well, we certainly couldn't do what we do at 501 Commons without you and all of our other volunteers. So thank you so much.